Hi muckers and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a change from what we normally do, but I'm very excited about it because I like implementing change every once in a while because it kind of keeps things exciting. So this is not going to be permanent. Obviously, you can't see me right now and this is audio over video kind of format. So this is not going to be how it's going to be forever. However, I saw that I had my microphone that I bought whenever I was like, I'm gonna do a podcast. I'm gonna be one of the podcast girls. They're gonna include me in the podcast section. Like, whenever I was so dead set on wanting to do a podcast because, like, everyone was doing one, I got this, like, really expensive microphone and I think I've used it, like, for 3 podcast episodes and I never stayed consistent with it because I love talking about other people, but when it comes to me, I have nothing really to talk about because I don't really do much. So that was kind of a flop and it never kind of subsidized anything. So I was going through my comments last night and I saw someone had posted that they missed the podcast format. And so I was like, I was already looking at the microphone and being like, I haven't used this for anything. So I was like, I might implement like a video every once in a while where it's kind of this format and I put the receipts on the screen because, again, if you watch my videos, I very much so like to show you the things while I'm watching it. So it'll be on my computer screen or it'll be on my iPhone or something along that lines. But this is a lot more like it's on the screen. So I think this would work really well for text-driven videos, which is the one I'm going to do today. So thank you for clicking. I can't give you my mucker hug, so I'm going to virtually give it to you. So let's go in for it. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time and spending even a little portion of your day with me. Okay, so if you're aware, we've talked about the Jeff Wittek situation and David Dobrik situation at length, darling, at length. And it has been very messy, and it all started from the accident, quote unquote accident, that David Dobrik did to Jeff Wittek, where he was swinging him around on that big thing in the ocean, the big fucking tractor thing, excavator, I think is what it's called. I always fuck up that. And he was swinging him around and then it came to a halt. David didn't have a license for it. He didn't know how to use it. They didn't do any safety protocol. And Jeff came crashing down and he's had so many injuries and so many surgeries since this. And Jeff has kind of been in David's corner ever since this for some reason. It's been like he's been like David's a little bitch. And I say that in the worst way possible because I think David Dobrik is one of the worst ever. But recently it came out from Jeff that he was contacted by Casey Neistat, who is making a film documentary on David Dobrik and kind of the boy who has a camera is what we were told it was going to be. So it followed like David Dobrik's life and interviews with David, and in it, Jeff was found out through Casey that David basically blamed Jeff for the accident happening, and he also said that Jeff always wants to push it to the limit, that Jeff is always the person who wants to do the most extreme things to kind of show off in front of the camera. Again, none of us have really seen it yet, so we didn't really know if that was true or whatever. However, I don't doubt that David Dobrik would completely pass off the blame to someone else. He does that quite frequently, darling. So that really got Jeff, angry, and I think it was completely warranted that he got pissed off by that. And so Jeff, since that, showing of that clip, has kind of been going on this David Dobrik, like, press tour, like, talking shit about him and also kind of exposing the truth about it. And he said that he wasn't going to sue David in the moment. Again, this is just, like, briefly recapping. He wasn't going to sue him. All he wanted was David to, sort out the hospital bills, and David didn't even do that. And then David came out with a video, which we covered on my channel yesterday. You can go watch that. And David was basically passing off all blame again onto kind of other people, and kind of Natalie spoke up for David way so more than he did for himself, and Jason as well, and it was just kind of ridiculous. Now, that friend group has always been really weird to me. I've never really understood their dynamic. It really seems like people like to say that, they would be nothing without David, but I completely disagree and think it would be the opposite way. Their careers are, equally, there because of David, but David's career is completely there because of these people being funny on camera or doing all these stunts or doing that. But I kind of voiced my distaste for Natalie in my video yesterday, and a lot of people agreed with me where they think that, people like to pass Natalie off as the nice girl, and if you really think about it, she's David's assistant mainly, and she's the one that sets up all these bits and makes sure that they actually happen. So David can have an idea, but Natalie is the one who actually does it. So I've never trusted her from the start. But anyway, the movie is called Under the Influence, and it premiered yesterday at a festival. So Casey and Neistat premiered it at a festival. A lot of people are asking how or when we're going to be able to watch it. So basically, it gets shown at one of these festivals. So I think it was like SFX Festival, if I'm correct. So the people who are in it were there presenting it, and then people in the audience can kind of, get a teaser for it, watch it completely, and then if Netflix buy it, if YouTube buy it, if Amazon Prime buy it, it'll then be shown to all of us. So a lot of people are asking like when we're going to see it as well. I haven't seen it. A lot of people think that if you're a drama channel, you will get early access to it. Bitch, we don't get early access to any. We are literally the exact same as the viewer. That's the honesty I want to keep with you here. A lot of people are coming on their YouTube channels, and I've been seeing a lot of posts like, oh yeah, I've already seen it, and I know all the tea on it, I know all the gossip on this movie. Let me tell you, if you're a drama channel or you watch a drama channel and they're telling you that they know anything about this movie other than what you know, they're fucking lying to you. Yes, I mean, Casey Neistat did DM me and reached out to me about this movie, and he actually asked me if I was going to be in Austin, to go to the premiere. But again, that was not because I was a drama channel. That's because I can now say that my friend Kat is the main narrator of this movie. So that was the only reason that I was ever going to be invited. It was not anything to do with me. It was not anything to do with any lack of clout that I have, because again, I have fucking none. It was not because of that, and no drama channel will ever be invited to these things. It was literally just solely because my friend was the main person in it. So someone who was at the event yesterday actually did a Reddit post on it, and they're called Punk Sailor Moon, and it was on the H3H3 Productions subreddit, and I saw this was uploaded by Frenemies Room, so shout out Caroline, and we're going to go through this because I think it's interesting. We are hearing firsthand someone who was in the audience what this movie is about. Again, I have heard little bits here and there from Kat during the filming of it. But again, I made sure to tell Kat that I didn't want to know anything more than what the public would know, because I want to go in this with a very unbiased point of view. I want to go in with this with, kind of how you're going to watch it. So I didn't even want to know anything leading up to this. So I really don't know anything. The only thing I knew was that Casey Neistat was making it. It was about David Dobrik, and that it was negatively showing the impact that David has. That was all I knew. So a lot of people were thinking that this was going to be very pro-David and almost like a documentary following David to show how great he was. And I kind of knew from the start that that wasn't what it was going to be like. However, again, I still didn't really know. So anyway, this post says all the tea from Under the Influence. So that is the name of it. So again, shout out Punk Sailor Moon. I just got out of the premiere of Under the Influence by Casey, the documentary about David. See my last post for proof. Casey was there. Kat, the reporter from Insider, was there. The reporter from NBC, by the way. She does not work at Insider. She works at NBC. And Philly D was also there, so Philip DeFranco. Essentially, the whole documentary was narrated by Kat. She gave us all the context for what YouTube is and the impact all these events had. Overall, it was a very well done, non-biased documentary about everything David did in the last 3 years-ish. Casey got footage of David long before the accident with Jeff happened, saying, "It's not fun unless someone gets hurt." Oh God. Oh my fucking God. Of course David said that. Fuck me. Of course David Dobrik. They have him on the record saying that it's not fun unless someone gets hurt. Are you fucking kidding me? Of course David said that. Oh my God, that shows up so bad. So I really want to know Casey's intentions with making this film. Like, if he has a clip of David basically saying it's not fun unless everyone gets hurt. First of all, I think David is literally a psychopath, and I do not like throwing around mental health words like that, but I think David has so many of those traits that it's unrealistic to not say that. But again, I want to know your opinion on that. However, the fact that he literally has a clip of David saying that is so fucking bad. But of course, there's probably so many clips of David saying that because David has been so consistent in wanting his friends hurt on camera, or wanting his friends crying, or scaring his friends on camera. Like, this motherfucker has all these videos, like, finding out his friends, like, biggest fears, and then blindfolding them and doing it. Like, his full thing is scaring people, or pushing things to the limit. So the fact that he is trying to sit down on an apology tour, David Dobrik, and say that, that was never his intention, he just wants to make fun videos on YouTube. Fuck off. Anyway, so Casey has a footage clip of David long before the accident with Jeff saying it's not fun unless someone gets hurt while they were filming a different, less dangerous stunt. So again, this is David always pushing it to the limits. Casey said in the Q&A afterwards that the entire documentary was completed before Kat's article came out, but when it did, it changed everything. Casey asked David if he felt responsible for the essay, and at first he said no. Dom's the one who did it, but when Casey pressed him, he admitted it wouldn't have happened without him. Oh my fucking God. Wow, Casey is really getting all the info here. This is seriously for David Dobrik to finally acknowledge any sense of responsibility between the SA case that he pushed everything up until now to Dom. Thank fuck that Casey did that at least. But again, it shouldn't take Casey Neistat forcing you to have to admit responsibility whenever there are victims on the line because of you. That's it, because of you. You know, Dom did it. Who set up these activities? Both you and Natalie. It was David and Natalie that set up all these things that made it so fucking accessible for their friend to be so predatory. Their friend is a fucking disgusting, disgraceful person for doing that. And there are not enough bad words that I can use to describe Dom. And it's also important to note that David and Natalie set that up. They literally set it up, and Dom was the disgusting one who did it. And David and Natalie were the disgusting ones who set it up. So the fact that Casey has him admitting it, oof. They had footage with Dom where they toured the New York apartment where the essay happened, but Casey didn't know about it when he filmed that part. Dom was not interviewed at all, and when asked why during the Q&A, Casey said he was not interested in anything Dom had to say, and I think that is such a respectable opinion and stance to take. Finally, we're hearing people like not even want to hear out Dom. We've had so many people be like, I want to interview Dom, or I want to interview Dom's assistant, or whatever like this. I have nothing that I want to hear from Dom. Whenever he posted that video coming out with his side, I literally did not care. I have nothing that I want to hear him say at all. He's done it. I think he's a horrible person, and there's no redeeming for me. A Vlog Squad superfan was also part of the documentary. They gave her real feelings of betrayal when she learned about the essay, and she was also in attendance during the premiere. New info. David tried to sell a show to Netflix 7 months ago before Kat's article came out, which Netflix did not buy because they said a YouTuber cannot make the transition to Netflix. That's really interesting because I feel like we have Liza Koshy, who made the transition to Netflix, right? Colleen Ballinger made the transition to Netflix. I think people just don't want to work with David Dobrik, and I think that says a lot. I think we have a couple YouTubers who successfully, I mean, the shows didn't last, but successfully, you know, at least got a couple seasons out of their shows on Netflix. I think it is able to happen. So I think people just don't want to work with David. So let's stop that. You know, Netflix just don't want to work with YouTubers. Or it could be the case that maybe Liza and the Colleen show weren't the most successful, so they don't want to work with another YouTuber. However, I feel like they were both reacted to well, especially at the time for what they were. So I feel like it's just David, honestly. The documentary framed this as putting more pressure on David's return to YouTube because his show didn't work out. They said the excavator stunt was basically just a side stunt. Obviously, something that nearly ended Jeff's life. Just a little side stunt, bestie. Just a little side stunt. The main course was the skydiving. The final footage of the excavator stunt was only supposed to be about 3 seconds in the vlog. David fully blamed Jeff for the idea. Okay, so there we have it on the record. Jeff said that he was shown the clip. We now have from someone in the audience that David is fully blaming Jeff for this. So again, accepting no responsibility whatsoever, which is to be expected from David. However, it's not any less disgusting. Saying he already had the footage he needed, and Jeff just wanted more footage for some reason, because that makes perfect sense. Doesn't it, David? So Jeff was already filmed for the clip, but wanted a little bit more, so put his life in danger again. Listen, it just screams of someone who's so emotionally stunted, who literally cannot accept responsibility for fucking anything and address anything like a fucking adult. And I think a lot of this just boils down to the fact that David is refusing to acknowledge anything from the essay to the accident because he doesn't want his citizenship revoked, because that can still happen. You know, he is a citizen in America now. I think he finally got one. However, that can be revoked because he's not fully from America. So I think he's scared of any damaging things on his name. So he's not owning up to anything. They showed all the footage of the accident. It made me super sick to my stomach. Also, the documentary was super flattering for Jeff. All right. I even asked in the Q&A why Casey decided not to include that Jeff implied that Todd bought the alcohol for the girls. He said there were lots of details they thought about including. David's racist fines, the bullying, and Jeff saying that. But ultimately, they decided to focus on the two things they wanted to highlight as the most egregious. I've never heard of that word before. Wow, muckers. I really am showing how lacked and stunted my knowledge is. Egregious. The essay and Jeff's accident. When asked if he felt if Kat's article was fair, David said no. He said it was between Dom and the girl, and now his reputation is forever... Look, this is what this motherfucker does. He literally looks at everything career-based and is now passing off the blame to Kat for his career being stunted whenever he's refusing to acknowledge why it was stumped or why the article did so fucking well that people were so interested in it because it was so well looked into and researched. The fact that he's literally passing off all that blame onto Jeff, onto Casey, onto Kat, who is literally just a fucking journalist, is so fucking ridiculous. And he's now blaming that the essay, he's almost the victim in it because his career has been emotionally and fucking traumatized. Like his career is over because, like, what the fuck? This dude is such a, oh my God. So his career and reputation is forever stained, and it shouldn't be. He said the articles shouldn't have involved him so much. But yeah, he was like the ringleader who was setting up these things. And as much as he doesn't want to acknowledge that he was there, he was there. He then said the article was not published for the victim's sake, but so Variety could click using David's name. So again, he is just going down the egotistical route. Casey really highlighted how bad the timing was. David trying to cover up the essay when the accident with Jeff had already happened. Casey played circus music over this part. So Casey is fully trolling David in this. And I think that if David signed up to do an interview for this documentary, I think David probably had the same attitude that I had towards it. I thought that this was going to be a pro-David documentary, which was why even when Kat was working on it, I was happy for her, but I had like no interest to watch it because I really don't want to watch any like redemption arcs of David Dobrik. I don't think there can be any, but the fact that David probably thought that too, and Casey has just made a documentary that is showing up how horrible of a person he is and how manipulative and how he can't, own up to anything, and he does all these things and then never accepts responsibility. I think that's why he signed up for it, and then the documentary just took a different turn. But also, I think that Casey Neistat started this documentary as a way of just showing David's life, and the more he got into it, the more he realized how fucked up, and I mean fucked up, David Dobrik is. The final scene is Jeff and David boxing. Jeff gets a few jabs, and David jokes, "I'm better with construction equipment." So again, David is, to this day, making jokes about this event happening to Jeff Wittek. He's still not accepting responsibility and still making fucking jokes about it. Someone asked why Ethan was not included. They included a clip of Frenemies where Trisha asked about Jeff's eye, but zoomed in only so Jeff was showing. He said that Ethan was a huge part of revealing a lot of this, so during Frenemies, whenever they were covering it, but they chose to use Kat's reporting as the anchor for the doc because it was well-researched, professional, and fact-checked. Period. Well done, Kat. Listen, here's my take on it. I think that this documentary is going to forever stain David Dobrik, especially if this comes out on the likes of Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever. And here's the thing. It shouldn't just be this case where David can, go through like 6-month periods of uploading on YouTube where the general public are on his side again, and then, 2 months where he has to go away because people are remembering the essay or what he did to Jeff or so many other shady things. Like, it shouldn't be just like this rotation that we see with people like James Charles, where it's, like clockwork, where they can work for like 6 months and then take like a month off, because they're being cancelled. No, there needs to be repercussions for the fact that David has done this to one of his friends, and the fact that David put so many young girls at risk for the sake of the vlog. And this all boils down to the sake of the vlog. David cares more about clout than himself. He cares more about clout than any of his friends. He cares about fame more than any of this. And I think that everyone can see that, and everyone can see through that. And I think that we've never really had a documentary that exposes a YouTuber being so manipulative like this ever. We've never even had one on the likes of Who's the Worst, like Jeffrey, Shane, James. We've never had one on any of those people. So the fact the first one is going to be on David, I think, well done, Casey Neistat. Again, I haven't seen this, so I don't want to speak fully, like, well, because I might not fully enjoy it. However, I think from what I've heard, this sounds promising. I think this might open the doors to a lot of films being made about what YouTubers are doing behind the scenes to keep their empire running. And 9 times out of 10, they're doing incredibly disgusting, shady things. But muckers, we finally heard what this film was about, and wow, it kind of shocked me. So I want to know your opinion on it. We'll talk about it below. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today and spending even, a little portion of your day. I really enjoyed speaking to you for, I think this was like 20 minutes or something like that. And this was really interesting, and I know David is shitting himself at this. So let me know, would you want to watch this documentary, and how do you think David's going to respond to this, and how do you think Jeff's going to respond to this? All right, I love you muckers, and I'll see you in my next one, and bye. Mwah.